There are 150 chapters in Psalms, but in the month of Elul till after, some say before or through Shmini Atzeres, some say till Hoshana Rabbah at night, depends on the custom. We picked chapter 27. Why chapter 27? So it's like this. It says, LeDavid Hashem, of David, Hashem, Eiri v'Yishi. Hashem is my light and my salvation. So our rabbis tell us, Eiri, my light, is talking about Hashem becomes our light on the Rosh Hashanah. Yishi is on Yom Kippur. And later on it speaks about Sukkot also. So we see this is an auspicious time to say chapter 27 because it's referring to Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and Shemini Atzeres, number one. Number two, if you notice in all kapitlach, all chapters, most of them have LeDavid Mizmar, Mizmar LeDavid. Here all it says is LeDavid. Why LeDavid? Just LeDavid. It doesn't say Lamnaseyach Mizmar LeDavid or LeDavid Mizmar. It says LeDavid. Why? Our rabbis tell us these were words that David frequently said through any problem he had. So he added it to Tehillim. What does it mean? He meant to say it like this. Whatever problem in life I have, and David HaMelech had lots of problems. You can't have a bigger problem than your own son wants to kill you. Hell in this world for a parent. And David HaMelech went,
what chapter is that?
27 Hells of hell. He went through his own personal holocaust, his own life, by the way. From his enemies wanting to kill him, and those who were supposed to be his advisors and his friends wanted to kill him. Everyone wanted to kill David HaMelech. But David always said, Hashem, Eiri v'Yishi mimi ira. Hashem, Eiri v'Yishi, you're always my light and my salvation. I know you're going to be there for me. Do you know what Amunah, how he must have felt? This made him feel good. That he knew Hashem is constantly with him no matter what. No matter what his problem was. And he had terrible problems. And then he said, once he said, Hashem is my light and my salvation, what does he say? Mimi ira, Hashem ma'is, Mimi ira, Hashem ma'is chai, Mimi avchad. I don't have to fear anyone. I don't have to be frightened. Why? Because God is always my light and my salvation. There are two levels in trust on God. One is a level of gamzul l'teva. Anything bad happens, one level is there's some good involved. Gamzul, this is also for the good, right? Sometimes things happen to us, we think it's the end of the world, right? It's the end of the world. And we're not talking about, God forbid, a tragedy happening. Something goes wrong in business, something goes wrong with our relationship with that. It's the end of the world, right? And at the end we see, now I understand why God did it. There's a level to understand it right when it happens.
If I get to that level,
that's a great level. But there's even a greater level. There's even a greater level. And the greater level is Kol man da ovid rachmana letav ovid, which means whatever Hashem does is for the good. The first level is Hashem did something like he gave me a curveball, right? But I know it's for the good. The higher level is there's no curveball. Because if I would be God, I wouldn't do one thing different. I would have done the same thing God did. There's no bad. But that's a very high madrega to reach. One of the highest people of that level was Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva reached that level. Okay, ad kedei kach, so far that when Rabbi Akiva was being tortured and killed by the Romans, he was one of the 10 martyrs who tied him up, and they took iron combs and ripped his skin off. When it came to this part right here of his head, you know what he said? He started saying Shema Yisrael. With all his pain, with all of his Shema Yisrael. So his students were watching and said, Rebbe, how could you do this? You're in pain. He says, my whole life, I was saying to myself, Mosa yagiu maisai lemaisai avaisai. When will my deeds reach the deeds of my fathers? It says that our fathers gave up their lives for God. They were ready to give up their lives. Abraham went through 10 tests. He didn't care, right? And it says in Shema, you have to serve God with all your heart, right? Which means both of your inclinations, all your soul, which means you got to be ready to give up your life. And this, he was waiting. He was waiting at Rabbi Akiva his whole life. And he says, now I can do this. I can give up my life for God. And he said, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, and that's when he passed away. One more thing I want to discuss, at least today, I'm going to do the same parak next week in Mitzvah, the same chapter. In verse 4, it says as follows, and this is one of the most famous verses there are in Psalms. Acha sha'alti, right? How?
Yeah.
Acha sha'alti, there are many, many tunes with this song, with this verse. Right. Acha sha'alti me'es Hashem eisa vakesh. There's one thing that I request from God. Eisa vakesh, that I request. Shivti beveis Hashem kol yemei chayai. Let me sit in your house, O God, all the days of my life. Lachzos b'noyam Hashem, so I can rest in this pleasantness of God, the splendor of God, u'levaka be'cholei, and always come to His temple in the morning. We have one request from God, and this is when we say it. We go through, and this is what it's all about. We go through trials and tribulations. Comes a fast day sometimes. Should we eat? Should we not eat? Should we do? Should we not do? Should I go to minyan or should I be later in bed? Should I look for excuses?
Who are you talking?
I'm talking about myself right now. I'm talking about myself, I really am. And we look for excuses. It's too hot, I dress a certain way by davening. It's too cold, I dress a certain way. And we forget one thing. Lachzos b'noyam Hashem, this is God's house. The world is God's house. How many times do we really, literally piss on God? You'll excuse me for my French. We just, and now comes on Shani and Kippur. Zachreinu lechayim elechafetz, but remember us for life and write us in the book of life. We're living for you, God. We call that bribery, by the way. We call that bribery. A whole year, Shulchan Aruch goes out the window. We have to know one thing. Lachzos b'noyam Hashem. We have to be able to bask in the sweetness of God from the time we wake up in the morning till the time we go to sleep. When we're in a good mood, we're in a bad mood. When we're in a depressed mood, when we're in a mood that I love you, God, or even a mood I hate you, God. How do you do it to me? How many times we have that? We got to remember something else. When we hate, so to speak, when we have our complaints on God and we hate Him for whatever He did for us, that said, I'm not going to do anymore. Who are we hurting?
Us.
Who are we hurting?
Ourselves. No.
When we put on a show, yeah, that's it. We put on, like I said, we're on the stage. We're putting on a show for everybody, right? Who are you fooling? Who are you really fooling? There's a saying in Yiddish as follows. The minat up a mensch. When we fool a person, the minat minop. Who are we really fooling? Minat andere Menschen. Are we fooling other people? They really don't care. Oh, minat up to the Rebbeinu Shalom. Ah, we're fooling God. He knows everything, so we're not fooling Him. As who are we fooling? We're fooling ourselves. So what's the trick to fool another fool? You're fooling yourself. What's the trick to fool another fool? No trick. We don't understand. We're hurting ourselves. We rebel against God. Who's being hurt here? Who's being hurt? When we win the lottery and we get the raise and everything, thank you, Rabbi Shalom. When something goes bad, why me? I tried and I davened and I came a long way and I did it. Why me? Why me? Why me? Right?
Why not?
I never heard anyone after something, they got a raise or a promotion or whatever, saying, here, take it back. I don't deserve it. Why me? Here, I give it to someone else. Just give it to someone else.
I've heard people say,
Hashem. And behind the closed doors and the locked doors and under the blanket and at work, there's the Rabbi Shalom. And we have to remember one, that's all I want. Doesn't mean we have to sit with a towel over our head for 24/7 and neglect the world. Okay? We have to remember one thing. We have a purpose on this world. We got to realize we're Kaddish. We have tremendous divinity in us ourselves. Like it says in Tanya, we are each a chelek Elokai mima'mamish, a spark of godliness. And that spark has to shine. And we have to be true to ourselves. And if we're true to ourselves, we can light up the world around us. That is our mission down here. That means when we go to work, we have to show the Eibishter's with us at work. Doesn't mean not to work. The Eibishter's with us at work. And we're in shul, the Eibishter's with us in shul. And by the way, the Eibishter's with us in shul just the same as he's with us in a restaurant. All over. With the Esrei, Molehats, Kaveidei. He's all over. How can we do it? We have to, and I'm going to talk about this a whole month and a whole half a month in Tishrei, until Ishana Rabbah also, we have to start not acting but living more Jewish. We have to start living more Jewish. This is what this is all about. If we want God to shine on us, if we want Him to be our Oiri, V'yishi, Mimi Ira, and not have to fear anything, we have to live for God. And the only way to live for God is living more Jewish according to Shulchan Aruch. That means how we eat and how we drink and how we walk and how we dress and how we move and how we do it. And with this, the Rebbe will give us a ksiv, a good adventure.